So it's been a few months really since I've done a proper polytunnel update. A lot has changed, a lot has grown, and rather giving you individual videos about how I've planted this or potted that or watered that, I've decided to show you the last 3 months in a whole video. You'll see how we filled the bed at the end there with compost and did the soil, and I thought you guys would be interested in seeing where the polytunnel is now.
So I think it's best to start with the building of the new bed, which is the main thing that's happened in the last few months. So let's go there.
I'll have to shut them off. Then I wouldn't know if mum rings.
So to start with, I laid out all the blocks on the ground. This was mainly so that I could work out how many blocks there were. This really isn't a how-to video, this is just what I did. I'm lucky as there's a block plant next to me and I get damaged blocks at a reduced price. Me and Dad made up the cement, and as you can see, I go through and just cement them to the ground and to one another. We're only going 1 block high here, and this is purely so that I can hold some soil, make a nice shallow bed for things like salads, courgettes, peppers, things like that that would otherwise go in a grow bag. As you can see, Dad was doing his usual supervisory role, as well as standing right in the middle of the camera shot. So halfway through building this bed, I actually decided that because we had so many blocks and we had so much cement, that I'd just make the bed, well, like twice as big. Originally, you see, it was only going to go to the end of the previous last bed, but because, as I say, we had the materials, I thought, well, we may as well make it bigger. So today we've got a few jobs to do. I've got my dad coming, we've got 3 tons of green waste compost coming. We've built the beds, and today we're going to fill up the beds in the polytunnel. So the green compost waste arrived early that morning and we set straight to it. So I crack on while Dad just supervises and has a bit of a rest, getting ready and psyching himself up for the work. Right, so far we've sort of half filled this. And yet the pile don't really seem to have moved. I think I ordered too much. The rest can go on the allotment anyway. But yeah, we'll keep shoveling it in, see how we get on. So finally, Dad was set to work and all was going well, but we realised quite quickly that we weren't going to have enough room in the new polytunnel bed. So I had to come up with another idea. So luckily for Dad, my brother turned up. It was a bit of a surprise visit, but he was able to help me load up these dumpy bags. The dumpy bags were perfect. There were 2 dumpy bags and a full trailer. Just allows me to store the compost for a little bit longer without it washing away. And I'd already filled the trailer, but once they're in these dumpy bags, I can lift them straight onto the trailer and take them to the allotment as and when I need to, I suppose. For a bit of context, Devon and Cornwall, and we're in Devon on the edge of Dartmoor, is under a hosepipe ban. The hosepipe ban came in, I think, in beginning of April, somewhere around there. I forget when fully. And it came in after we'd just had the wettest March and the wettest April. And I'll be honest, I thought it was crazy that we were going into hosepipe ban and all that lot. Since then, I don't think we've had a single bit of rain where I am in the last month. We're now into June, and it's still not rained. It's so bright again. I think we're at about 30 degrees in the polytunnel. I'm sat with, you can't see, but behind where the camera is, the door's there, and there's very little wind, but just trying to get a bit of air. Where the hosepipe ban has kicked in, luckily, I put the IBCs in before that, so we've still got some water. Now, because technically I'm a business, I'm on business premises, I can use a hose pipe. However, I would try and do that minimally because it's not really the sensible thing to do. Certainly using a watering can does save a lot of water. I should think I'm probably using half the amount of water. But I also attach the hose pipe to the IBC. It's quite a slow flow, quite a slow process, but seems to work well. Where I've got these potato bed, there's enough head pressure to use the drip waterer, but mainly because of the heat, what I'm doing is using the
pipes that we've got that go under the bed and filling that with water. That soaks into the bed and stays, the soil stays hydrated for a lot longer. There's less evaporation, less like blight. So yeah, that's worked really well. We've got the courgettes. They're growing really well. They're just sort of springing into action now. We're going to start getting thousands a day, as you do. Anyone that's ever had courgettes knows that you wait and then suddenly they, you get loads each day.
Alright Grant, enough of the boring geography lesson. Let's actually now look at what I planted in the polytunnel this season, and then hopefully, because this is a 3-month video, we can see actually what happened to them and how they look now.
I want to use the second earlies actually as almost like, kind of like a main crop in terms of when I eat them. You will have heard me say before that I actually like earlies a bit more than main crop because of they're more waxy and solid. So these will take 60, 70 days to mature, which is perfect because that's when my first earlies will sort of been used up, and then I can just use these as and when I need to. Soil's healthy here, nice few worms in here. So I grew up in the Midlands and in a little town called Rawns, and where I did, we had an allotment, me and my father, when I was younger, about 15 I was. And we used to get a lot of snails, a lot of worms. But when I moved down to Devon and started gardening and that here, I discovered that they have got millions of what I would have called woodlouse or chicky pigs. I think the chicky pigs are more the brown ones, I think, but the flat back sort of trilobite like woodlouse. I've got loads of them here, they're everywhere. And all at my allotment, all here, they're just absolutely everywhere. And I don't know if it's just that's down here or that's what they've just had an explosion in popularity, or at least population, in the last few years, because they're absolutely everywhere here. They eat everything as well. They eat, not only wood and all that, but they eat a lot of your produce. They're quite annoying, but I won't kill them or anything like that. They're not that bad, but they are quite annoying. I was quite surprised. I don't know where you guys discovered any of my videos, and thanks to those that continue to watch. It still amazes me really, but I was quite surprised that my polytunnel video, the first one I did, which was a bit of a review of the polytunnel, has got over like 10,000 views. It's quite bizarre. I think that was just because I was telling it as it was for a polytunnel, which, as you may or may know, I absolutely love my polytunnel.
So in typical YouTube style, here I actually set up the camera and filmed myself planting the tomato plants and these broad beans. Problem was the SD card went wrong, or at least probably actually the camera. It was probably the camera. Certainly I don't use the camera anymore. On the left there you can see the pepper plants that I then went on to plant later in the day. The bed that them pepper plants sat on was actually completely filled that day. I'll take you through in a sec the composition of what's in there, and then we'll move on.
The compost is 100% green compost. It'll have topsoil that's quite a clay topsoil. It will then have Lemur sharp sand, as that's in abundance where we are. It then is topped off with coconut coir. It will be mixed around. Oops, one of my bees just sat on the camera. It will be mixed in stuff like that, but that's the general composition. You've got the sand for moisture, sort of free flow, I should say, sand to allow it to flow through. The topsoil to give the sort of bacteria and microbes that the soil needs. The compost is probably the majority of any single thing in it. Obviously lots of nutrients, really good. Then there is some perlite in it as well for holding moisture, but also allowing moisture to flow through. So that's it. This is shallower beds than this one. Plus this one's got a deep watering system. This one hasn't at the moment. I might put a drip hose on it, but we'll see how it goes. This is obviously, well, quadrupled the surface area that I've got to plant. Not quite volume, because obviously this is deep, so, but yeah, really pleased. If I just show you what it looks like now. Right, so this is how it is now. The bed's 1 brick high. It goes all the way down just to concrete. You've got a kiwi in the corner there. You've got mint that's just growing up wild. I'm glad that that's not in the bed at the moment, because the stuff goes wild. So that's come from the outside, that's staying. In fact, you'll have a look, there's a tiny bit of soil down there, and it's growing well through that. So I'll be harvesting that for a bit of mojito. Harvesting that for different things. We've got the broad beans here. These up to about here. So all of these were the ones that I grew from seed, or bean as it is. And the other ones up there where you've got a few together are ones that I've bought in. I like to try both just to see how they do. I've got 2 thornless blackberries here. This one has been left out of, wasn't potted until very late, so it's actually started to dry, so hopefully I can rescue that. As you see, this one's a lot more healthy. They were just from local garden centre, plants galore. I'll have just a little update on these trees. They are now starting to all come out. We've got the pear, Clap's favourite, and then these are Golden Delicious, Red Delicious, and something else there, Empire I think.
So now that you've had a midway sort of update tour, let's get on with putting the coconut core onto the new bed, so that then I can get the courgettes and that planted. I don't think I actually filmed that bit, unless that was on the camera with a bad SD card, but we'll fill that, and then let's jump forward to seeing how the polytunnel looks a bit further down the line.
Polytunnel's coming on really nicely. I'll give you a quick show round now. You can see that the potatoes are up really nice. These are the second earlies here that you'll have seen me plant. The broad beans, most of them have been up and they're starting to die back now. There are a few that were in clusters that didn't grow up so well, but they may still grow yet. So I'm sort of in the process at the moment, you see from the floor, of thinning them out. I'm also just putting this coconut core compost down. This is perfect for seeds. Obviously you've seen before that underneath in this bed is mainly compost with some soil, just for the obviously getting the right microbes and that in it. But for a lot of the seeds it's a little bit rich still, so having the coconut core on top just helps the seeds. So have to admit, I've neglected the allotment a little bit this year. Not so much the polytunnel, but with the allotment, it was so wet in March and April that it was very hard to get down there to get everything sorted. I do run no dig, as you've probably seen, so that wasn't so bad. But then May came, the beekeeping ramped up, a lot happened there. May was so dry. I'd left it a couple of weeks. By the time I got down to the allotment, everything was really dry. That coincided with the hosepipe ban, which meant to actually water all the seeds and the plants that I'm putting in, you need to get your watering can. It's quite it's not a long journey, but you know, it's like 20 meters over to the tap from where my actual plot is. and therefore the walking back and forwards, and obviously you need to do it a lot, sort of made me wonder how much I was actually going to put into the allotment this year. With my bee hoping to be expanded, we've now got bees at the yard and at my woods. You get actually to see my woods properly. It's a place where actually I spend a fair bit of time in the summer, but I'll have to do a video, show you the woods, show you the bees at the woods, show you camping at the woods, because I really do love that place. Today I've got the afternoon where actually I'm doing a video for my part of my beekeeping. I've never really done any beekeeping videos before, but I might introduce those. Basically in the UK at the moment there's quite a shortage of hives and equipment with people. Certainly they're quite expensive to buy, and I've been making my own, so I was going to do a simple video on how to make beehives and supers and stuff like that for beekeeping. So that's this afternoon's job. And of course I've still got the horse box, which I'd been waiting for parts for ages, and the parts didn't come, then I was let down, and that's sort of just sat there. It was always meant to be a bit of a winter project, and sort of winter went and we're in the summer, so I should really get on with doing some of that. I've got parts ready, so probably crack on with some of that. It's just having the time, I suppose. There's so much to do. Plus I've got to run my business, a little plug for my own business here, Craftmore. If you like crystals and fossils and shells and all that, check me out. But yeah, busy day today, so it's good. We like busy day, it's exciting. Hey. So right now I'm going to dig up some of the potatoes that you'll have seen me plant earlier in the video, or in the last video, not sure which because it's hard to keep track of time. You can see these sort of under where the camera is. These are the second earlies. They're really going for it. I should think some of them will be ready soon. They've flowered and now they're slowly starting to fall over, so we'll see. But for now, I'm going to dig these up, see what we've got. So I'll pull these out first, and then we'll, just scan through the top. Yeah, I put these really deep, knowing that they'd grow up nicely in the polytunnel. I'm not sure how far deep down the potatoes will be, but I am finding some monsters. So I think what I'll do is I'll dig down, get what I can, and then once they're all out, I'll sort of turn all the soil over again and see if I can find more, because some of these, wow, are really deep and really nice. Oh, there's more. There's more. Ow, 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 ow. Oh, nothing worse than getting soil caught up your nail. My days. There is so many potatoes here, and they go so deep. Another one, another one. I can't just keep saying another one every time I find one. This is such a good soil mix here. It's unreal. Oh, that nail really hurts. It's always horrible when you force a bit of dirt or something into your nail bed. I would say nothing worse, but I can think of a few things. Right, so that initially is what we've got from one plant. So, well, don't know how best you can see. Can you see them if I put them on there? That's not bad for one plant at all. I did dig up a plant the other day here, right under where the camera is, and I sort of gave up when I got to a certain depth, because it was a case of quickly getting some potatoes to take home for dinner for the kids. But I'm pretty convinced there's going to be quite a few more in there still, looking at that. But if I move these onto the floor. So I've already harvested some broad beans, some peas and that from here. The broad beans are just coming to an end now, and the tomatoes are starting to show. The trees that we put in, the dwarf trees that I bought, I think that was on one of my first ever videos, that we planted. They're grown really well in here, almost too well. They've gone quite big. The ones outside are growing okay. They're growing slower, but they're outside and we've had very little rain. So yeah, things are going really well. The marrows, the courgettes, the pumpkins, the aubergines, the peppers, they're all starting to show now, which is really good. It's exciting times.
This is what's happening as I'm digging around them. Wow, that freed quite a few up at once. Nice. Oh, and there's more. That's got to be it now. Just check. Oh no, there's still more. I'm gonna call it there. Again, nice all of potatoes there. Be honest, there's so much more than I expected. I'm gonna stop there because I've got enough for about 2 weeks worth of dinners for my family. They obviously keep a lot better underground than they do in the kitchen. So I think with what I've got there, that is plenty enough for today. Thanks as ever for watching and subscribing and liking and doing everything you do, and the support. I still get some really nice messages from all the different videos that I've done. Haven't done so many recently because I don't want to make a video for the sake of it. I want to make a video that actually shows some progress, because I get quite frustrated with YouTube videos when it's just showing you something for the sake of it. I have got a few more updates on the the horse box to show you, and I've also got some ones coming out on my beekeeping adventure. So yeah, subscribe, stay tuned, and I'll see you soon.